Hello and welcome. Thank you for joining us this evening, or joining me this evening. I'm just going to wait a couple of moments until there's some more people joining, just a bit delayed. So I'm just going to leave it for a few moments before we start. If you can hear me, you can just, if you can type, I can hear you into the chat box, that would be lovely. Those of you that are already on. That's awesome, thank you. And if you've got any questions during the webinar, please also feel free to just post it to me privately or publicly. That's also fine as well. You can just ask me a question privately, that's fine, and I will answer it completely anonymously too. Okay, I think we should actually, quite a few people now have joined. So let's get cracking. Okay, so hello and welcome. And I wish you a great evening, morning, or afternoon, wherever you are. I know there are people who are currently on from Australia and South Africa, the UK, Canada, Germany, and USA. So, and I know there are other people that have registered from other countries, and I'm sure they'll be joining us shortly. So thank you so much for taking the time and joining me today. I'm so grateful that you're taking time out to learn more about this topic. Now, I want to say right out that, as you would have seen from my emails or social media posts, that there's no sales pitch at the end of this webinar. Not that I think there's anything wrong with selling or webinars and selling, but on this particular webinar has been structured purely as a learning forum for you. So I invite you to really sit back and relax, but take tons of notes. I would encourage you to learn as much as possible with the information I'm going to share with you, and take part in the exercises in the second half of this webinar, because that will retrain so much more of the, and also reinstate or embed so much of the learning that you'll be able to start putting it into practice immediately. Well, my name is Judy van Niekerk, and for those of you who don't know me, I will give you a very brief. I'll give you a very brief bio. Known as a thought leader, an empowerment expert, creator of the Mastery Technique, and Charge Your Challenges, Capitalizing Your Challenges, and Championing Your Challenges programs, as well as founder of the Sacred Leadership Institute and Launch Yes School of Entrepreneurship. And for the past 2 years, I have been speaking around the world with the likes of Howard Martin from the HeartMath Institute, Raymond Aron, Tom Hopkins, Jack Canfield, invited to speak at universities and entrepreneurs and at business graduates, and a member of the invitation-only Evolutionary Business Council, a group of only 150 transformational leaders worldwide with a combined influence of over 14 million people. I've also written a best-selling book with Brian Tracy. I've been featured in a number of books, including the best-selling book, Billions Rising, for the thought leadership work I do. I work extensively with emerging entrepreneurs from developing countries, creating collaborative relationships where they collaborate with organizations and entrepreneurs in developed regions to solve local challenges using exponential technologies in a way that are economically viable. I've been featured in numerous media channels from the Times and the Independent in Ireland, Mail and Guardian in the UK or South Africa, and RTE News, SABC News, magazines like Shape Magazine, Take a Break, and also taking part in the Coaching movie coming out next year. And also, with the help of the amazing groups, including the Evolutionary Business Council, I launched International Day to Celebrate Your Challenges on the 24th of November this year, which was it was our intention to start creating a movement around celebrating challenges, just taking a different perspective of what our challenges mean to us in our life and transforming the opportunities that exist within the challenges, which is what we're going to delve into today. So just explain a little bit about what each of the charge programs involve. And essentially, to charge your challenges means to release the emotional charge associated with your challenges, which frees your heart and soul from suffering, empowering you emotionally and spiritually, creating inner peace and opening your heart, essentially deconditioning it from years of judgments and perceptions. When you achieve this, you will notice an incredible reduction in conflict in your life. For the more frustrations and conflict that show up in your life daily, it's simply a reflection of essentially what's inside. Then to capitalize your challenges means to create your financial freedom from what you've learned in charging your challenges, essentially empowering you materially. Which when you learn to capitalize your challenges, you'll be clear on what you were born to be, do, and have in this life. And this leads to a truly fulfilled and inspired life of incredible potential. And then to champion your challenges means to instigate paradigm shifts in society, elevating consciousness and contributing to the evolution of humanity, assisted through the resources that you gained in capitalizing your challenges, which essentially is empowering you socially. However, today, you and I, we're going to focus on charging your challenges. The techniques and tips of how to do that is what I'm going to share with you in this webinar today. So specifically, here's what we're going to learn, is the 7 steps to charging your challenges, why the science of the inner is a forgotten science, and why we are surrounded by chaos, and how to release the suffering in your heart and access deeper levels of inner peace. Now here's an amazing quote, which I think is very appropriate for today's webinar. It is sort of two combined, but I do think it's very appropriate for today's webinar. Do not dwell in the past. Do not dream of the future. Concentrate the mind on the present moment. No one saves us but ourselves. No one can, no one may. We ourselves must walk the path. And I think that's a very appropriate, the two match perfectly from Buddha, match perfectly for what we're going to be exploring today. So I want to ask you to do 3 things for me as we go through this webinar. The first thing is to keep an open mind. This is heart work, so actively stay in your heart as we go through the webinar. Stay out of your head and stay in your heart. Because some of this will be brain and mind level discussion, but the most of it, we're going to be accessing the heart, where the truth exists, where only the heart knows. Because the heart knows the truth, where there's no judgment, there's only love, compassion, and appreciation. And then the third thing, which is we all find, I think, in my experience, the most challenging, is to be deeply, deeply honest with yourself. So please bear those 3 things in mind as we go through these webinar and each of the steps. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make available for you to download the 7 steps to charge your challenge. It's a free PDF, and essentially it has the 7 steps in there and also exercises, but we'll be going through that. But that you can download it now or you can download it later, but it's there for you to download, and we will be going through it in detail as we go through this webinar. These are valuable exercises in each of the 7 steps, and they are strategically created as part of the Charge Your Challenges model. So what I want you to do now is maybe pick a challenge you've experienced that you still feel affects you today. Do you stress over it? Does it cause you pain, anger, resentment, jealousy, fear? Whatever it is, pick one. Because the idea of this exercise or this program, this process, is to release that negative emotion, because it is that judgment that is closing your heart and blocking you from accessing the full extent of your heart's energy. Because the more judgments and negative emotion we hold in our mind and body, the more our heart's energy depletes. The more you release the negative emotions and judgments, the more you increase your heart energy, and the more freely your intuition flows, and the easier it is for you to access it. Also, as we all know by now, we are all energy. And the higher the frequency we vibrate, the higher the frequency we connect in with the universe. It makes logical sense. It's been scientifically proven. That is what we are. We are energy, and we either sort of vibrate low or we vibrate high. If you're vibrating low, you're consumed with negative energy, and that is what you're going to lock into in terms of energy or energy frequency in the universe. The lower the frequency you vibrate on, you'll connect with a lower universal frequency. And that is where outer stress and conflict appears in your life. Simply put, it is matching the stress and conflict going on inside of you, which is what's causing you to vibrate at a low frequency, and that is what you're going to get matched with in the universe. Let me use an example for you. Have you ever felt like a swan? Yep, I know it might have appeared like a strange analogy, but think about it. A swan is a magnificent animal, as much as you are a magnificent human being. They glide so effortlessly across water, be it still or stormy water. They appear to be composed with grace and poise until you see below the water, and you will see they are paddling furiously, everything they have, with everything they have, masking the effort it really takes. And that is what I mean when I say, do you ever feel like a swan? You try so hard that it's second nature to you to keep it all together on the outside, all calm. You're in control. You're on top of everything, day in and day out, relentlessly, essentially forging forward, and sometimes, however, experiencing a leak in the exterior and having a freak out, overreacting to something that is on the outside apparently irrelevant. And you ask yourself, why? Why did you overreact? And all that time, as you go through life with this calm exterior, this forced calm exterior, life is constantly throwing you curveballs, and everything in life is hard, a struggle. No matter how hard you try, it just persists. It just continues. Missing the train, being late for a really important meeting, getting a fine, losing money, struggling to make payments, unexpected bills, a fight with family or friends, flights delayed, taking the wrong turn in a car, your phone battery dying at the most inconvenient time, any of which on their own it's minor, it's not a big deal, but when they combine together, leaving you exhausted at the end of the day. And you find yourself hitting your head with your hand and asking yourself, what is going on? Knowing that you're doing your ultimate best. If you can relate to this or any of this in any way, it's an indication that you have internal conflict going on. And that internal conflict is closing down your heart. And you are vibrating at a lower level and connecting with that lower universal frequency, which is where stress and conflict happens. And typically, what is keeping you in inner conflict are your negative emotions and your judgments. and as well as your perceptions of your experiences. Is your and also is your suffering and all the negative thoughts that you have running around in your mind, that you're having, that have been so embedded over the years that they form your beliefs, and they exist not only in your conscious thoughts and mind, but also in your subconscious, which is why so often you react to things and you really don't know why or what triggered it, because it's now embedded in a belief in your subconscious mind. And this could be anything going back to your childhood. It could be a serious event, serious experiences you've had as a child growing up, or it could be something you were told once at a vulnerable time in your life when you were a child and it's still with you. It could be a belief you have about money or society and your role in that society that you picked up from your parents when you were young. And over the years, like an onion has layers, these beliefs have gathered layers. And all the time, each and every time, there's another layer added, there's another layer closing down your heart, more and more, reducing your heart energy and your ability to access the heart's energy and heart's intelligence, reducing your ability to connect with your heart's innate intelligence and intuition, and also reducing your frequency vibration. The process of charging your challenges essentially deconditions your heart piece by piece. It starts unraveling the years and layers of judgments and suffering, increasing your energy and vitality, increasing your heart frequency levels, and releasing you from the limitations of negativity. Now, during the process, you literally dissolve the negativity, fear, anger, or any negative emotion, and you'll replace it with a feeling of love and gratitude for yourself and for your life. We will go through a small exercise at the end where you will actually physically experience this. After we go through the questions, you will actually physically experience this, and you'll actually find that you'll have more lung capacity, more air, and you'll be able to breathe more freely. It's actually incredible how immediate this can be. Once you start this process and you start accessing growing levels of your heart energy, you will then be in a position to listen to your heart, be guided by your heart. There's so much research being done now that is proving that really and truly our brain is our true brain, our real brain. The most important brain that we have is our heart. And you'll feel inner calm and peace and a sense of authenticity as you reconnect with your true inner self once again. And once you master this process, you can do this anytime, any day, when you experience hiccups or irritations as you go through life on a day-to-day basis. I mean, I've been doing it now for a while, and I would say I've pretty much mastered it, but I still need to use it every single day. I mean, things happen all the time. It's not, but they're irritating things. They're small things. Because we all naturally get out of our heart and into our head and start reacting, and just once you start mastering it, you become aware of it quicker, and you step back and you go back into your heart and you immediately dissolve it. But overall, you will experience so much more outer calm when you do master this, and you will then genuinely feel like a swan gliding through water without the hectic paddling below, but with poise and grace, with real joy, true fulfillment, and love and compassion and appreciation in your heart. You'll be amazed at how easy it is to have that as a overarching sense of being and being present. And when you find that inner peace and that free flow of energy, what you are inside is reflected outwardly in your life, and you reconnect to your dreams from your childhood, which is the truth of who you are. And you start on a journey releasing your true depths of phenomenal potential. As you do this, you charge your challenges. You learn to unlock your inner technology. You become the master of yourself and your life, and you start living the life you've dreamed of all your life. And you gracefully, literally let go of things that are not meant for you, and you love more and you live more gently and compassionately. I've been there. I know, I really do know what I'm talking about here. I've been there. This is a process that I have developed over years. I've been there and I've wondered, is this all there is? And absolutely had a feeling that deep inside me, there's got to be more to life, so much more to give and live. And like I felt like what was inside me is not reflected outside of me in my life. And I was completely overwhelmed. So if it's okay with you, I'm going to briefly just tell you what my experience is and how I've come to this, just to put it into context and to demonstrate to you that I really, truly do. I know this process and I know it works. Because if you'd have been with me in April 1999, you'd have been with me at a Cape Town City Hospital. You'd have seen me connected to a life support machine with a heart monitor beeping, indicating life, but only barely hanging on. I really was only barely hanging on. You'd have seen me drifting in and out of consciousness, and you'd have seen the sheer despair in my eyes as I reflected back over the years that led me to this place of emotional destitution. You see, this wasn't the first overdose that I had taken. This was my 11th in less than 2 years. How much more could my system take? And as I drifted in and out of a comatose sleep, the last memories I had were of lying on rocks, listening to waves, the sound I really most love in the world, only this time it sounded like a drone, as the two men standing over me kicked me again in the stomach, having raped me. Sadly, South Africa does have a reputation of being the rape capital of the world, but this was not the first time I had been raped. The sexual abuse I experienced started when I was about 3 years old and continued for the next 20 years, with my father getting more and more violent and brutal as the years went on, and this was in Ireland. In that time, he raped me almost daily. He beat me, he shot me, he stabbed me, isolated me from the world, locked up, not allowed to attend school, leave the house, until I literally escaped in the middle of the night in my 20s and left the country for good. When I finally woke up from that last overdose in 99, I was dismayed at the situation I was in, because I realized that during the years of incarceration, I was living in outward hell. And since escaping, I had an idyllic life in Cape Town. I made great money. I had the best cars. I had all the toys my heart could desire. I lived in a magnificent house at the foot of Table Mountain. I was a champion swimmer, scuba diver. I was competing in amazing sports like paragliding, water skiing. I had lots of people around me. Outwardly, I was in heaven, but inwardly, I was in hell. And it dawned on me why, during the years of incarceration, I was inwardly in heaven, whilst outwardly in hell, because I had a ritual that I used to do literally every day. I would look at myself in the mirror, and I would look beyond my physical core, beyond my physical body into my core. I would penetrate into the deepest parts of me and connect with my true, authentic, spiritual, or higher self, whatever you want to call it, but something so powerful, so deep, so spiritual. At the time, I called it my something. That was the name I had for it. It felt like something was residing in my solar plexus that I could connect with. And as a result of that connection, I had such profound inner peace, self-love, and self-worth. It was powerful and unbreakable. But when I escaped, I lost touch with my inner authentic self. I lost touch with that something inside of me. And in my efforts to try and fit in and be normal in society, as you can imagine, having been incarcerated for my whole life until that point when I escaped, I had to learn to fit in. I had to learn to socialize. I had to learn to be normal in a sense, I suppose. And I ended up spending most of my time looking outside of myself for love, for affirmation, for security and acceptance. I tried so hard to fit in to the point my life was in turmoil, and nothing could satiate that inner hunger I had as a result of losing touch with myself. And in the process, I caked on a mask so hard and thick that I had no idea who I was anymore. And I realized that when my life was outwardly in hell, I was inwardly in heaven. And now, when outwardly I was essentially in heaven, having created a great life for myself in Cape Town, inwardly I was in hell, and that is why I was taking the overdoses. That realization was powerful. It was startling. It was incredible, and that started my journey back to reconnecting with myself and to loving and honoring myself. It has been a long road and a hugely enlightening journey with, as you can imagine, many, many twists and turns and detours. But the result is that I've founded Sacred Leadership Institute, where I train people globally to exponentially grow their income, life, and success through the transformational principles of charging their challenges, capitalizing their challenges, based on the deep truth of who we are, our inner technology, and marrying that to our outer technology. So the science of the inner is essentially a forgotten science. Since the evolution of outer science, we've become more and more dependent on outer technology. And that's essentially, this is an important point, because this is what I was doing in trying to fit in with society is what everybody does. It's what we all do. It's what we're taught to do. So I wasn't doing anything necessarily unusual, but it was unusual for me, considering I had grown up for the first 20 odd years of my life, connected to my inner authentic self. And that was enough to give me tremendous peace, strength, courage, and calm. And until I escaped, and then I start focusing on outside of myself. And that is what created the chaos in my life. And what I did is not unusual. Majority of people in our society today do that. So 100 years, we have forgotten our inner science. And essentially, since the evolution of outer science, we have become more and more dependent on outer technology. And in the process, essentially locked down our inner technology, our inner knowing, our inner connectedness. And that is where the true depth of our power lies, which is why the world appears to be in chaos, because we are desperately and permanently seeking outside of ourselves for solutions and answers and for love. And all the while we're doing that, closing down our heart, closing down access to our heart with judgments, perceptions, pain, and suffering, distancing ourselves from our heart. We become more and more overwhelmed by our challenges as they become to define us. We say we're victims of circumstances. We blame the hand we've been dealt. We drown under the weight of our challenges because that is what society tells us to do. We've become indoctrinated in Newtonian science, where everything is based on material fact. Everything is physical and has to be proven, leaving no space for our inner authentic, divine, mystical, intuitive truth to guide us in life, in dealing with situations. And we've become indoctrinated in the construct of survival of the fittest, which has been erroneously attributed to Darwin. Because if you'd have read his text, The Origin of Species, he referred to experiments with birds and ants, not humans, birds and ants, and he deduced that they let the strongest live and the weakest die. But he preambled it with, it may not be a logical deduction. He knew there was more research to be done. His theories on evolution, which he's always preambled with the possibility that he was not aware of all the facts, have been completely discounted today scientifically. But yet we continue to stay ignorant as a society by teaching Darwinianism at schools still today. He was not aware of DNA in those days. We are natural collaborators. We are phenomenally powerful. We are not separate from the universe, as Newton said, but we are one with the universe. And there are peer-reviewed scientific studies that demonstrate when collaboration breaks down in the animal world, the results are disastrous. And that is what is happening to us as a society. And in the process, we have got stuck into this spin, which has created the current phenomena, as I see it, that we're experiencing. Because where I see it as a society, we have become stuck and reached an invisible, impenetrable glass ceiling. Because if we look at Maslow's hierarchy of needs, we need physiological needs first: food, shelter, and warmth. Then security, safety, and stability. Then we seek love and belonging with friends and family. And all of that we have generally achieved. But we are battling to break through to achieving mastery and self-esteem, and importantly, self-actualization, the top of the pyramid of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Because historically as a society, we had to fight and battle to achieve the first three levels. So, if you look back on the history of mankind, from living in tribal, in the wild, I mean, we had to fight for the first three levels, for the physiological needs of food, shelter, and warmth, then security, safety, and stability, and then only did love, belonging with friends and family would come in. So today, they're coming easier and easier. I mean, look at the third level of connection with family and friends and social media, the proliferation of social media over the past few years, access to cheaper and cheaper foods, housing, cheaper furnishing. Basically, the underlying computational power is doubling in price performance in just about everything, year after year. What you can buy in computational power today is twice what you could have bought 2 years ago. There is an abundance, but we have not shifted out of that scarcity mindset, have we? We're still chasing our tail. We're still in a spin. We're going round and round in circles on the first three levels, still looking for food, shelter, warmth, security, safety, and stability, and belonging with friends and family. We have not got out of that desperate need to secure those levels. We haven't stopped, stepped back, and realized there is an abundance of those three levels, giving us space and time to focus on the next level of mastery, self-actualization, and self-esteem. We've not made the psychological shift, and we're still spinning, chasing our tails. And that, together with our scientific and Darwinian indoctrination, we are encouraged to look outside of ourselves all the time and not draw on our inner power. We are victims to our circumstances, victims to our experiences, survivors of our challenges, but never masters. And to charge your challenges is to master and transcend. Just like Maslow's hierarchy triangle, we have the charge your challenges triangle. At the bottom, as an absolute necessity, we need to charge our challenges by integrating them into our lives. They are a part of who we are. They make the whole of who we are, not something we reject or hide from or distance ourselves from or try and disown, judge, and label. They are who, they form part of the whole of who we are. All challenges we experience give us a valuable opportunity to bring light to our shadows. You are a sacred being, and no being is just pure good. We are 50-50, good and bad. We are magnets equal both sides. To accept ourselves as a sacred being, we need to be able to accept that fact. You're not half a sacred being, you are a whole sacred being. And until we can accept that we cannot love ourselves, until we accept the fact that we are equally good and equally bad, that we have every trait known to humankind in one form or another, to one extent or another, we can never truly unconditionally love ourselves. And if we don't love ourselves, we cannot unlock our inner technology where all the magic in our life exists, where all the answers for us to know how to physically create our ideal life, our powerful life exists. And there's no earthly challenge that you are not bigger than. There's no earthly challenge you cannot charge and celebrate. To completely charge your challenges, we need to unlock our inner technology. And to do so is to accept that you have grown, learned, and benefited from your experiences. And in your heart, you hold nothing but gratitude for your experiences. I reported my father for rape and abuse. And after many years of the trial was heard in the High Court of Ireland, and he was sentenced to 52 years in jail for 47, I think it was, of the charge for 4 of the 47 charges against him to run concurrently. And after 3 years, he was diagnosed with cancer, dying with cancer, and he was transferred to a hospice. I went to see him before he passed away. And this is a picture of my last picture of my father before he passed away. And I went to see him to tell him that I loved him. I was grateful for everything that he had done for me because I had learned to charge my challenges. Once you've mastered this, you unlock your true potential. And then you share that. And this is an opportunity for you then to capitalize your challenges. There are people on the planet that need to know what you've learned, what your unique perspective is on your experience. And there are people who will pay you for that. And the most powerful way you can do that is through your words. And just to give you like another couple of examples of people who have charged and capitalized their challenges is, you may have heard of Aaron Ralston. He cut off his, I think it was his right arm, when he was stuck under a rock for 5 days when he was canyoneering in Utah back in 2003. And he's written a book called, an autobiography called Between a Rock and a Hard Place. He had to cut off his own arm. And also he's the subject of the film 127 Hours. Look at Steve Jobs, who was fired from the company he started. Look at Oprah Winfrey, who was raped at 9, and she dedicates her life today to empowering people. And another example, Elizabeth Gilbert, who was alone and miserable and went on a travel and an adventure of discovery after her divorce and a rebound relationship broke down. And she wrote the now famous book and movie, Eat, Pray, Love. Through monetizing or capitalizing your challenges, you transform your life as well as the lives of others. You then learn to champion your challenges where you transcend to a higher level of consciousness, a higher energy, vibrational level, and increase potential, where you influence the lives of others, change mindsets, create opportunities, and shift paradigms. Like our much loved Madiba in South Africa, Nelson Mandela, who epitomized championing his challenges. In a different way, a completely different way, Arnold Schwarzenegger, who came from a remote Austrian village to become a world champion bodybuilder who wanted to go into acting, but was told he would never make it. He was too big. And all Hollywood actors at the time were small, like Al Pacino. And he became a loved and successful actor and a leader as a governor, a powerful businessman and an investor. And we got Sylvester Stallone, still talking about actors, who brought Rocky to our screens, and Rambo. He wrote every one of those. He wrote Rocky while living homeless in a car. He was offered money for the script, but refused because he wanted to act in it, and also wanted a part in the direction of the movie, having had no experience whatsoever. Now, he was born with a partial facial paralysis as a result of doctors having used very badly, apparently 2 sets of forceps whilst he was being born. And he had to grow up with that challenge. But he charged that challenge. He capitalized that challenge, and most certainly has mastered his challenges, and is not only an inspiration, but will leave a powerful legacy. I mean, his Rocky movies are just something else to this day. And you can do that too. Because on that journey to charging your challenges, capitalizing them, mastering them, lies phenomenal opportunity where you will be clear and empowered to grasp them with every fiber of your body and forge a powerful path for yourself that is overflowing with fulfillment, inspiration, energy, and love. So let's now get on to, now I hope I've framed it, I hope I've given you sort of like the context of what charging your challenges is based on, and how I came about developing it. And these are the steps I've put so much time and so much hours of reflection into coming up with this, because my actions over my experiences and my subsequent actions in life since escaping that incarceration, taking all those overdoses, finding that journey back to myself, and having been able to go back to see my father, I have demonstrated the extent to which you can charge your challenges and have only love and compassion and appreciation, gratitude in your heart. And that is how I live today. And in the past few years, I have achieved phenomenal experiences that have been incredibly effortless. They have just come by my way as a result of living with that high vibrational frequency every day. So I have put so many hours and months of research, years of research, and months of reflection into documenting and formulating this charging your challenges, because this is what I have done, and it's worked for me, and it's worked for several hundred of clients that I work with around the world, and that's why I know it will work with you. And I'm sharing this with you today as part of the movement that myself and my colleagues and other organizations I work with, like the Evolutionary Business Council, is dedicated and committed to growing and evolving, celebrating your challenges, changing the conversation that we have in life, in society, transforming the potential that we have from being locked down to being the biggest, best version of ourselves we can possibly be. Okay, what we're going to do now, we're going to go into the 7 steps. So if you do these exercises, now I'm going to ask you, I'm going to go through the 7 steps, and each of the 7 steps have an exercise or a couple of exercises. We will go through them now. And what I would love you to do is, at the beginning of the webinar, you may remember that I mentioned think of a challenge or an experience that still stresses you, still affects you. And what we're going to do is go through those 7 steps. You've got the download as well. If you do these exercises from your heart with no judgment, consciously leaving your ego aside with an open heart, and answer them with an open heart. Remember the 3 steps I mentioned at the beginning. Be deeply honest with yourself, stay in your heart, and have an open mind. And you'll start the journey to unlocking your inner technology and know that what to do to commence the journey in charging your challenges. So step 1 is about confidence. It's about having the confidence and to steps to build the confidence, because you've been through your challenges, you've gone through the challenge, you've been there, you've done that. Have the confidence to know that you can create what it is that you would love to create. Trust yourself. Listen to your intuitive voice. Go into your heart. You've survived what you've experienced. So know that there is nothing you can't overcome. Know that you can create what you would love to create, because you have the powerful tools and skills. You've developed them. You've to overcome and survive and move through your experiences. Believe in yourself. So what I want you to do now, if you've got pen and paper, is to make a list of where you do not believe in yourself. Write them down. Where do you not believe in yourself right now? Now write down the opposite and make a list of all the times you've demonstrated belief in yourself. For example, you don't believe you're clever enough to get out of the rut you're in. Write a list of the times you were clever enough to really get what you wanted. Then make a list of 50 ways in which you not believing in yourself has benefited you. For example, in your list above, how feeling not being clever enough to get out of the rut is benefiting you. This helps you take charge out of the emotion and allows the opportunity to see other possibilities. Then the next step is calmness. You need to establish a sense of calm about everything in your life, because when we act out of desperation, you're lowering your vibration, the frequency that you're vibrating on. So promote calmness in your life. Take the angst out of your experiences by knowing that you've gained phenomenal tools and skills that you can apply today to create your dream life. Ease the brain noise, and by identifying what you can take from your experiences. Identify what's really important to you today as a result of your experiences. Get comfortable with the fact that the pain, suffering, or trauma you may have experienced or you may be experiencing as a result of your challenges is something you can let go of. Because it's over. You have survived. Calmness is being in a state that does not mean there's no trouble or conflict or craziness, even hard work in your life. It just means that in spite of it all, you have calmness in your heart, giving you inner peace of mind, which allows you to build confidence and self-belief. So in a quiet place where you're not going to be disturbed, I want you to go into your heart and imagine yourself journeying from your heart, from your head into your heart. Place a hand over your heart and breathe deeply. Focus your energy on your heart and breathe that calmness. Breathe in that calm. Just calm the mind through focusing on your heart. Now write a list of the strengths you have developed as a result of your experiences and reflect on how they have helped you in your life. Because so many times we deny how we deny how our benefits, we deny how our experiences have truly benefited us. And that's the true tragedy, is that denying how the experiences we have had have truly, truly benefited us, because it's not popular thinking. It's not what society encourages us to think. And therefore it can be challenging to do that. So with a sense of calm, out of your mind into your heart, write down the list of strengths that you have developed as a result of your experiences, and reflect on how they have helped you in your life. And then the next step is creativity. Know that you have had creative ways in which you've dealt with the challenges that you've experienced as they were happening. Also, you were creative in the ways in which you overcame those challenges. You created a life you have today. You created that as a result of the experiences you've had. So know that you can apply that same creativity today. You have a wide range of experiences and have thought more about your experiences than gives you higher levels of creativity than those who have not experienced challenges in life. Give yourself credit for that. Give yourself credit for the phenomenal levels of creativity that you've had to apply in your life to achieve what it is that you've achieved, to get to where you have got to. People who have not experienced, everyone's experienced challenges to some form or another, but some people may appear not to have experienced challenges that are as, what would you say, maybe hectic or severe or extreme than others. The more extreme the challenge that you have experienced, the more creative you've needed to be. And the more creative you can be now today, and use that creativity to your advantage. So what I would love you to do now as the exercise is identify what you creatively did to get you through those experiences. What were the defense mechanisms that you created, and how have you applied them in your life since to create what you would love to? Make a list of them. Write down how you can apply these to create what you would love to create today in your life. Honor yourself for your amazing creativity, for it is in this creative space that you can apply the tools and skills you've learned over the years as a result of the experiences you've had, that gives you such a magnificent benefit that those who have not experienced challenges to the extent that you have do not have them, and you've worked so hard for these tools, so use them. And the fourth one is certainty. Be certain about who you are, what you stand for, and what you don't stand for. Be certain about what makes you tick and why, not what society expects you to be or how to be, but be certain about who you are. In order to overcome the challenges you experienced, you needed to connect with a very deep part of you, from which you drew phenomenal strength. Allow yourself to draw on that strength now as you commit with certainty to transforming your life. By acknowledging and using the incredible tools and skills you've learned throughout your life. Be certain that you have been given valuable gifts, and it is your decision on how you wish to perceive your experiences as having ruined your life or given you incredible gifts to create what you would love to create in your life. So the exercise for this is make a list of the top 5 things in life that are most important to you. On a scale to 1 to 10, how much attention are you giving them? 1 being the lowest, 10 being the highest. Those that are low on your attention, ask yourself why. Is it because that is what society says you should be paying attention to? Or is it that you are not paying attention to it because you feel your attention should be somewhere else? That's an important distinction to make. The more we are conscious about what we do every day, the more powerfully you will live your life, the more powerfully you will access your heart's intuitive intelligence. Now, after you've done that exercise, you've rated them 1 to 10, and you've asked yourself that question, redo your list of top 5 things that are most important to you. And list 10 ways you can increase the level of attention you give them, and watch how your level of inner conflict declines and how much more certain you become who you are and what you're capable of. The next step is commitment. The easiest thing in the world, and trust me, I know this, I did it for a long time myself, is to lash out and try and punish the world for what you have suffered, for what you've experienced in your life. It's the easiest thing in the world. And my gosh, that impulse is so strong. I know it is. But commit today to not blaming anyone or anything in your life, for anything in your life. Commit to being the sole director of your life from now on, and commit to identifying the valuable gifts you were blessed with as a result of your experiences. And commit to applying them as you did during the challenges you were experiencing to transform your life into the dream life you hold in your heart. Not a fantasy in your head, but the dream you hold in your heart. The tool, what's the word for it now? The word escapes me. The indication, there isn't a better word, but for now, an indication of this is, what were your dreams as a child? Because that's the truth. Before we got caught up in society, what are the clues? The clues, that's the word I'm looking for. The clues are the dreams you had as a child. Be certain that you have been given valuable gifts. I'm sorry, I've lost myself. Sorry, I'm on commitment. Commit to never hurting yourself again by wallowing in why me, or drowning in the hurt of your experiences. So the exercise I want you to do here is identify the habits you have formed that allow you to pass blame to the world for your life as it is now. What do you blame others or the world for? Take that list and write out 25 ways in which these things have served you in your life. A trick to writing benefits is as follows. When you write a benefit of anything, you always start off with a primary benefit. The first thing that comes to mind. Then that primary benefit, you write a secondary benefit. What is the benefit of the primary benefit? And then the third thing is the tertiary benefit. What is the benefit of the secondary benefit? Listing benefits has an amazing way of accessing deep into the subconscious mind. And often it is the tertiary benefit that unlocks the great aha experiences. Because I know as we're writing, it's best also to actually physically write more than type into a laptop, because the act of actually physically writing engages the left and the right brain, the whole conscious brain. And then when you start asking the primary benefit, the secondary benefit, the tertiary benefit, you're digging deeper into your down into your conscious mind, to accessing the subconscious mind, where your hidden beliefs that are directing your behavior exists. So the most valuable part of writing a list of benefits is accessing the tertiary benefits. Imagine that you're a world leader in your life. How would you expect you to be? How would you expect yourself to act? Commit to adopting that attitude in life. This is one of the powerful ways to ensure that you are the sole director in your life and no one else. And then number 6 is clarity. Release the suffering in your heart, and in doing so, unlock the magnificent intuitive intelligence you naturally have. Acknowledge and gain clarity on the tools and skills you've learned as a result of your experiences. Apply the skills and talents you have developed to create your dream life. Understand the ways in which you have been empowered as a result of what you've gone through. That is a very important point I just want to reiterate. Understand the ways in which you have been empowered as a result of what you've gone through. Because so often in life, we're feeling the emotions or negativity around our challenges. We're denying where we have been empowered. For me, one of the most powerful ways that I have been empowered is I'm fearless. I'm absolutely fearless, and I take risks, and I love to be able to do that. I love being able to take risks. I've developed phenomenal sense of I can do. There's nothing I feel I can't do. So if I look over my career, I've done so many different things. I have professionally competed in sports, on so many different sports. I don't have the limitations that have been put on me by society, because I have had to be incredibly creative. And as soon as I became clear on where I was empowered, and that empowerment, that area of empowerment I could focus on, and that is where my gifts, my passions and my talents lie, my life transformed. But if I kept on focusing on having been beaten or raped or abused or overpowered or whatever, if I focused on that, well, then all I've got is, being overpowered. But if you choose to see where you are empowered, lock in on that, and in that area of being of where you are empowered, you will find, I guarantee you will find that is where your passions lie, and that is where your talents and your skills lie. Allow yourself to be guided by your heart, not your mind, and to do that previous point, understand the ways in which you've been empowered. You're going to have to use your heart, not your mind. So the exercise I want you to do for that point is to identify a ritual that you will do every day for the next 30 days, even on Christmas Day. Even if it's just for 10 minutes a day, but do it every day for 30 days. For me, if you remember earlier in the webinar, I spoke about my ritual of looking into the mirror, looking into the mirror beyond my eyes, into my soul, deep, deep down inside of me, into what I call my something. And I connected to my true, authentic self and communicated with myself. What is your ritual going to be? Something for you, a ritual that you will do every day that connects you to your heart. It can be meditation. It can be looking at yourself in the mirror. It can be whatever works for you. But commit to doing it every single day. When things are great and when things are not so great, it doesn't matter. The important thing is the ritual, the consistency. During this ritual that you create in a safe and nurturing space, go into your heart and ask your heart to reveal to you the specific tools and skills that you have learned as a result of all the experiences that you've had, that you can apply now to transform your life. You will know when it's your heart answering you, because you will get goosebumps. You may even get tears in your eyes, because it will be so deep. It'll be so powerful. It will connect into something deep, deep, deep inside of you that transcends the mind and the ego. It won't be just, oh yeah, right, well, that's it. It'll be something that actually physically moves you. Write down what was revealed to you and write a list of the ways in which you can apply that or apply these valuable tools to create your dream life. And then 7, one of the things that I've realized, and I really do, it really makes sense for me, and it's a very important part of the Charging Your Challenges process, is that I firmly believe that we have 2 purposes in life. We have an inner purpose, a sacred inner purpose, to transcend the limitations of our mind and ego and self-realize. And we have an outer purpose. It's basically what the inner purpose, by the way, is the same for every single one of us. Our outer purpose is unique to every single one of us. It is what we were born to be, do, and have in life. And that outer purpose is what serves us in our inner purpose. And as soon as we deviate from that outer purpose, so if you recall back to the beginning of this webinar when I was talking about how life possibly could be for you, where on the outside of it, you're keeping this forced calm survival existence, but all these conflicts keep coming up on outside of you, and all that's doing is matching the inner conflict inside of you. Because the more you're living off purpose, the more that conflict, the more there's hiccups, the more the irritations, the more there's stress in your life. Go back onto purpose, and the more effortless your life will be. And at that same time, you're on outer purpose, you're on inner purpose as well. And that is how the inner, the outer work, how the inner technology, the outer technology, marrying them together is where truth, fulfillment, and inner peace, love, and joy exists. Knowing that everything you experience has given you all you need, everything that you've ever experienced has given you all you need to live your life on purpose. And you have experienced them so you can powerfully create the life you were born to be, do, and have. So what I want you to do is complete all the exercises, have them printed out. So all the previous 6, have them printed out or write them out, keep them in a file or a folder, and reflect on them every day for 30 days. Modify them, update them as and when you feel they need to be. Because as you go through this process, more and more will come up for you, more and more you will realize, and you will see more and more opportunities. Keep them with you and to inspire you and guide you and keep you focused as well. As you read through them, go into your heart and ask yourself, what were you born to be, do, and have in this lifetime? And know that your experiences have perfectly equipped you, as they have me, to achieve this. And the more you are aligned to your outer purpose, the more you are aligned with your inner sacred purpose, which is where your inner peace, your love and compassion lies. So what I want you to do now, we're nearing the end, and I thank you so much for sticking with this. Before I go on to this next exercise, I just want to say that this is going to take a little bit of work. I urge you to go over it. The recording of this webinar will be available as well. So go over it and over it and over it. It took me a while. It's not something you do in an hour. It's not something you do overnight. But I'm going to show you an exercise now that can help you as you go through this process. I cannot stress to you enough that this is phenomenally powerful. It's hard work. As I said, it takes honesty. It takes honesty, a depth of honesty you've probably never you've never allowed yourself before, but that's okay. That this requires that deep sense of honesty, because when you're asking yourself something that you're highly charged about, how did it benefit you? How did it serve you? What did I learn? Where are the gifts? It can be very challenging in your head. That is why it's so important. As I said, one of the 3 steps I would ask you to do during this webinar is go into your heart for the whole time of this webinar. Have an open mind and just play with it. There's no rules and regulations. Play with it. Go with it. Go with the flow. Modify it. Feel free to modify it. Just go with the flow. At the end of the day, the end result is for you to transform all and every single one of the judgments, perceptions, every single pain and suffering in your heart into love, gratitude, and compassion. So I asked you at the beginning of the webinar to think of a challenge, something that you're experiencing right now, something that's you feel is holding you back, hurting you, creating pain in your life. Think of something. I'm going to just take a drop of water. I want you to close your eyes, take a very deep breath. Then I want you to come out of your head into your heart, focus your energy, your concentration, and your mind on your heart. Even put your hand on your heart in the middle of your chest. Take another deep breath and actually see yourself take that journey from your head to your heart. And whatever's coming up about the experience that you're feeling right now, whatever experience, whatever you're feeling about the challenge, I want you to repeat in your mind, quietly in your mind, it's okay. It's okay to feel challenged. It's okay to feel pain. It's okay to feel this frustration. It's okay that's holding me back. It's okay. It's hurting. It's okay. I'm experiencing this. Whatever's coming up in your mind, just say it's okay. Because the idea is to lose judgment. It is what it is right now. And what we're doing is we're going to dissolve the judgment associated with that. Take a deep breath. It's okay to let it go. It's okay to let that go. It's okay to let the pain go. It's okay to let it go. It's okay for my life to be as it is right now. It's okay for me to feel this anger. It's okay for me to let it go. It's okay for me to let go of the anger I feel. Whatever's coming up in your mind, whatever it is, if it's a comment on anger, is a comment of I can't do it, if it's a comment of I don't know what to do, whatever it is in your mind, just say it's okay. It's okay. It's okay to let go of the feelings of trauma, of pain, of anxiety. It's okay to let it go. It's okay to feel free of pain. It's okay to feel free of pain. It's okay to feel free of suffering. It's okay to have fun in my life. It's okay for me to have joy in my life. It's okay for me to let go of it all. So whatever's coming up in your mind, it's okay to let go. Just repeat that. It's okay. Whatever's coming up in your mind, it's okay. Now I want you to focus on what I'm saying. It's okay for me to let go of my experiences. It's okay for me to let go of my judgments. It's okay for me to let go of this judgment. It's okay for me to let go of this perception. It's okay for me to be free of pain. It's okay for me to release the suffering in my heart. It's okay for me to release the suffering in my heart. It's okay for me to access my heart intelligence. It's okay for me to access my heart intelligence. It's okay for me to access my heart. It's okay for me to release the pain in my heart. It's okay that I've had pain in my heart. It's okay I've had challenge. It's okay that I've had trauma. It's okay that my life is as it is right now. It's okay that my life is as it is right now. It's okay for me to transform my life right now. It's okay for me to give myself permission to transform my life right now. It's okay for me to have peace in my heart. It's okay for me to have peace in my heart. It's okay for me to let go of what's holding me back from having peace in my heart. It's okay for me to let go of what's holding me back from having peace in my heart. It's okay for me to be happy. It's okay for me to be happy. It's okay for me to be angry. It's okay for me to be frustrated. It's okay for me to be frustrated. And it's okay for me to let go of that frustration. It's okay for me to let go of that frustration. It's okay for me to commit to what my heart desires. It's okay for me to know what my heart desires. It's okay for my heart to reveal to me what my heart desires. It's okay. It's okay if I don't know how. It's okay if I don't know how. It's okay for me to trust. It's okay for me to trust. Going forward, just do that simple exercise. Do that exercise, just neutralize whatever you're feeling. If you take a deep breath now, you'll find that you've actually got more lung space, lung capacity. As you sit up and take a deep breath, you'll find that you can breathe easier. It's a very powerful exercise, and it's just so simple. It's accessing the heart's intelligence. It's giving your heart permission to start deconstructing the layers and layers of judgments and perceptions. It's not this exercise you can do at any time when you're feeling challenged or you're in conflict or your life's not, things are crazy going on around you. You just, what's going on or whatever, you just stop. Go into your heart and just say, it's okay. Whatever's coming up, neutralize it. You're angry. It's okay to be angry. You're running out of time. It's okay to be running out of time. Whatever it is, neutralize it. Go back into the heart, because your heart is the master. The ego and the mind are perfect servants, but we give them the honor of being the master, and they don't deserve that. The heart is the master. Now, this is not popular thinking, but it's very powerful, and I hope I've been able to give you, I trust I've been able to give you an insight into charging your challenges, and I really, really sincerely do hope that I've been able to give you an opportunity to experience just letting go of a perception or a judgment that you would have had. Because we have developed a pattern of remaining in the victim state for too long, for so long. And even when we say we survived events or whatever, that in itself is still not good enough. I mean, we have the tools as a result of our experiences to thrive. Why would we want to do anything else? It does not serve you to settle for anything less. I'll ask you a question. Are you okay with continually giving your power to whoever or whatever has caused the suffering in the first place? Because that is what you essentially do when you allow the experience to overwhelm you today after they have happened. And I know it's not necessarily the easiest concept to wrap your head around, but trust me, when you do, your life will transform. And I know when I started this journey, people told me I was mad. And yeah, I suppose I am on some levels, as I own, I acknowledge the fact that I own all traits known to humanity. So yeah, on some level I am mad. But hey, I would rather be considered mad and be unique and live a fulfilled life rather than live a life that society calls normal and live in turmoil. And I'm sure you would agree with me on that one. So I just want to say thank you so much for staying with me on this, during this process and this experience, and for doing the exercises. I really appreciate it. You can contact me on judy@judyvanniekirk.com. I've left out the .com there on the presentation slide, but anyway, I'm sure you have received emails from me. So if you've got any questions, you can just type them into the box. And I've just got a couple of questions here that I'm going to share. I've got a question here with somebody saying that, can this apply to, just read it. Can you charge the challenges for somebody else? In a sense, yes, you can, but that is more advanced. So in other words, I think from what I understand is what you're asking is that if your partner is suffering from experiences, can you charge their challenges? You can, but it does take a little bit more advanced, this level of work, and a little bit of more advanced level, and that is you can influence through what through connection, because we're all connected, and especially if we've crossed paths, especially if you're with a partner or a parent or a sibling or child, you can influence that person's heart state by doing this work. But that is a deeper level. It's best to work on yourself first, and in doing so, you will be amazed at how you do actually affect the heart energy of those around you. It's absolutely incredible how when you get into this heart space and start working, deconstructing the judgments and the pain, the suffering in your own heart, and you start vibrating at a higher level, automatically vibrating and at a higher frequency, you're going to bring everyone around you up to a higher level as well. But to specifically focus and work on somebody else, it does take more experience and more advanced. But to answer your question, yes, you can. And another question I've got here is, will it work on everything and anything? I don't know of any form of challenge that it does not work on. And when you think about it logically, it doesn't make sense that it wouldn't work on anything. Naturally, if you've had an experience very recently, let's say, for example, this afternoon you lost your job, it can be very challenging to, it would be very, very challenging to immediately to sort of celebrate or charge your challenges. Sometimes it is necessary for you to go through the emotion, go through the judgments. But the idea behind this exercise is that you the idea behind this exercise, you do it as soon as you possibly can, because the sooner you do it, the sooner you get out of suffering, the sooner you get out of conditioning your heart, closing your heart, and because the more you close your heart down, the less access you have to its intelligence and your intuition, which obviously, as you can imagine, stands to reason the more access you have to your intuition and your heart's intelligence, the more with ease you can move forward, and the more inspired action, the more ideas, and the more opportunities you will see. So whilst it's okay, and that's the trick here, whatever is going on, it's okay, because the more you judge it, everything is a judgment that we do that's not okay. And the more you beat yourself up, let's say, for example, for not charging your challenges and feeling anger, disappointment, or whatever, that is a judgment, and you're being counterintuitive. You're not helping your heart. You're not helping your suffering. You're not helping your pain. If you are being angry, you are being frustrated, you are being afraid, just do the exercise. It's okay. It's okay. Whatever you are feeling, it's okay. And then as soon as you feel ready, and the more experience you get at this, the sooner you will be able to do this process at whatever experience that you may be having. An important point to point out here is that if you are living on purpose, and you are living If you're living on your outer purpose and you're aligned with your inner purpose, your sacred inner purpose, you will find that you won't get these big life-changing challenges. They won't be necessary. They happen, generally speaking, when to give you the tools or to nudge you back towards your purpose. You'll find that won't happen. And when you get to that point, you'll find yourself inspired to choose your challenges. Now, I don't know if you you listened into the teleseminar for International Day to Celebrate Your Challenges. It's free, it's completely free. There's a whole host of global speakers. Not one of them is selling anything. In fact, there's lots of free gifts. Global speakers talking about celebrating challenges. And there's one lady amazing woman from South Africa, Ilse Alberts, where she truly has mastered her life through celebrating her challenges, charging her challenges, overcome divorce, loss of a spouse, death of a spouse, critical illness, and a whole host of other stuff. And she's truly mastered her life now, where she is in fact choosing her challenges. And she's just come back, literally a week ago, come back from climbing to base camp at Everest, Mount Everest. And that's the sort of thing that you have the energy and the mind and the time and space for in your life to create and choose the challenges that you want, that you need to fulfill your life purpose. So in essence, there is no challenge that this cannot apply to. The important first step is, okay, whatever you're feeling, it's okay. Whatever you're experiencing, it's okay. Then go back and then go through those 7 steps and pull out how it's benefiting you, how you overcome it in the past, what tools, what skills, what benefits, how can you be creative, how can you apply it, and how can you grow and apply it to create the life that you would love. I severely hope and trust this has been enormously of service to you. Thank you so much for sticking with me for an hour and a half. And I would just ask you now, before we close off, please to drink lots of water tonight, or this afternoon, or this morning, wherever you are in the world. And again, if you want to contact me at any time, my email address is judy@judyvanniekerk.com, and I will respond to you. And the reason why I've done this webinar is it is my vision, it is my goal to create a global movement where we change the conversation around our challenges to a point where we are no longer victims of our circumstances, survivors of our experiences, but thrivers and masters of our life. So I thank you so much. Now live every day with enthusiasm and inspiration, and have a great day. Bye-bye.